Greetings, everyone. Welcome once again to the Oz and Crew Reviews podcast. Today, we're here to talk about Robocop Prime Directives Crash and Burn, the final of the four movies. I'm your host, Ozzy. With me, as always, is my co host, Mad Matt.
Stay out of trouble.
This one is probably the most roller coastery out of all of four of these, I would say.
Yes, I'd agree with that assessment. Yeah.
You want to briefly go over what happens in this?
Well, the basic plot summary of this whole thing is that everyone's on the race to get to the OCP building because part of Legion was uploaded to the OCP building and into Saint in the previous episode. So both sides, including the unsuspecting CEOs, are at the building already, just watching everything kind of come cluster fucking its way right up to the building, and then just all out shootouts, beatdowns, weird funky slow mo, a bunch of electrical shots, lasers are going off, explosions, broken glass, steam boiling because of robots being exploded. Just everything you could want, everything you could possibly want on this budget, they do it
You know,
for every kind of fight scene, and
if
that's
I-
all you need for this one.
if I was like a fancier editor, I would really just after you described all this stuff, I want to just cut in that part with Ed. Oh, what's his name? From Ghostbusters. Oh my god, why am I drawing a blank?
Oh, not Ray. Peter Venkman. The cats and
Yeah.
dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
Bill Murray. I was trying
Bill
to
Murray,
remember the
yeah.
actor's name and it just blanked out on me. Yeah, just add that right after you said that. See if anyone notices, but obviously not doing that because we've really just been recording these live and gone with it.
When we are, because you are planning this end after the next episode. When we switch to the other show, I might do a little bit of light editing, just a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to throw
But
that in
no,
there.
no, like I said, this is going to be a very quick synopsis because it's basically an action film. This is the action portion of the entire action film all in one go, just going chugging. We got car chases. We've got the Robocops fighting each other again. We got them also fighting guards. We also got them fighting the security system as Saint goes bonkers. We got the guy who's trying to upload the Legion virus and manages to fully upload it to Saint, and Saint is trying to get online to go across Delta City. Delta City is waiting for their new highly improved lives where they don't have to think anymore. Although if the virus actually goes through, they'd probably end up all dead. And all this just crazy shenanigans leading up to the big boiling point of who finally wins several of these different fights and what the final outcome of it is. Which do we want to do spoilers on that?
We can wait till we're actually we can talk about the ending specifically when we get to that part of the discussion and discuss it then. I
Yeah.
think that would work better to actually discuss.
At least
the
give
scene.
people, at least give people a heads up on not spoiling it on this one because this is the big finale, folks. This entire episode is the big finale, and if you don't want spoilers, check out pretty quickly here because it's all happens here.
So, first thing I'm going to say, Damien's always been like a jackass throughout most of this.
Oh yeah,
But there've been points where he was a little bit of a lovable jackass, or where, as someone who's normally a fan of villains, I can appreciate some of his actions as a villain character, like the killing everyone in the fucking boardroom when they tried to fire him using Saint to adjust the temperature and pressure in the room.
basically boil and pressurize them. Yeah,
Like that's a good villain move, but in this movie, this final movie, he immediately just becomes an idiot and is stupid throughout the whole movie, except for one line, which I'll get to in a minute. But like right away, Ed is trying to tell him there's something wrong with Saint because he can tell something's off. Whatever the virus did, even before it was fully integrated into Saint, was causing something that Ed noticed. So he was trying to get Damien to delay the launch of Saint. And Damien makes the stupid comment about who did all the real work here. He's like, you may have made Saint, but I sold it, which then causes Ed to say, without me, you wouldn't have anything to sell, you idiot.
Which is exactly the call to make on that one.
Yeah, because that is the truth. It's like that's like saying the car salesman is more important than the guy that made the car. That's not how that works.
Nope.
So Damien responds by firing him, only to have the fact that there were multiple intruders broke in cause Sink to be like, "What should I do about the intruders, Mister Lowe?" So then he calls Ed and is like, "I'm not supposed to have to think if it's automated. You're unfired." How do you make one of your main villains look that stupid in that short of a time span? That was so weird.
Parker, you're fired. Parker, no, come back here. I need you. What, are you kidding me?
And honestly, for most of the movie, he's really, in spite of the fact that he's the CEO of the company, he's just a footnote. Because he doesn't have
he's,
anything
he's
much
an
anything to
obnoxious
contribute.
little idiot, and he's mostly there to be a card passer than the
Yeah.
go up floors.
He gets taken hostage by Robocop and his buddies, which includes his son James now, because he comes along with them for the ride to try and stop this catastrophe from happening. And the one good line Damien had in the whole movie was when he told the guards to stand down because they were gonna fight with Robocop while he's being held hostage, and they're like, "We can't do that, sir. The OCP No Negotiating in Hostage Situations Act says that we can't do that even for a high-ranking officer." And he pulls out his little thing that he records his voice notes on and goes, "Remember to change that rule." And puts the thing away. That's the only time I think we actually got a chuckle out of
Yeah,
what he did.
good moment of him. Yeah,
Well,
all the time in the episode.
that and his eventual death.
Oh, that too. Yes,
When
got exactly what he deserved. Barbecue.
when for whatever, like he proves how incompetent he is, because he go during all the chaos in this. There's a lot of stuff that leads up to this, but just for explanation, he at some point ends up all the way back down in the lobby, trying to escape from the place. And even though he should know the security protocol for the building, where if it detects anyone in the lobby at this time of the day, it automatically assumes you're here illegally. And in order to stop it from vaporizing you with lasers, you have to give your security clearance number and everything to get it to stop. And for some dumb reason, he doesn't do that. Like, he's just like,
Waits really long period of time before he tries to, and then fries him.
he doesn't actually say it, but he essentially responds to it telling him he's there illegally by virtually telling it to shut up. And then he falls over and it chops off part of him. And then he tries to actually use the protocol to stop it. And
by the time he tries to raise his hand to do so, it's too late, and it chops off his arm.
yeah. And then after he dies, you hear Saint go, "I never liked you anyway, Damien." such a beautiful
At this
line.
point, neither has the audience.
Yeah. Considering whatever redeeming qualities he had just went out the window at the beginning of this movie.
Well, at the beginning of this episode in particular, yeah.
Like it's like I kind of appreciated him as the conniving villain character, but it's like
He stopped being conniving in the beginning of this particular chapter.
any credibility for that role kind of just gets stolen by Sarah at this point.
Oh yeah, she's way more smarter and conniving bitch.
But she gets her own.
She gets a little bit of her own too at the end. Yeah,
because she gets taken hostage by David Kadick and John Cable, and for some reason while she's a hostage, she thinks she can just talk shit to a Robocop and not face any consequences. And he almost fucking chokes her to death because of it. Like, Katie is literally the only reason she's still alive.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And the only reason she's still alive is because he's willing to give her the alternative of keeping her eyes in her socket.
yeah, because just like Damien, she's their security pass to get through some of the doors.
Yeah.
Um, but for the most part, while Damien does kind of like fall off hard, they both really don't develop anymore as a character at this point. Aside from
No.
the disturbing lines where this is definitely a huge spoiler. Sarah reveals to John at this point that she intentionally caused the miscarriage she had that was then blamed for their divorce because she wanted to get out of being married to a cop at what she considered a dead end job, basically. It's like, wow. They really want to make sure you hate her. It's like
Yeah.
we picked an actress that's too attractive, so we need to keep making sure you hate her.
We really want to make sure you really don't care for this character. So yeah, she killed her own babies before they were born.
Oh man, that's
And then she
fucking
goes about
horrible.
bragging to the RoboCop version of her previous husband, and she nearly gets killed for it.
But person that did actually have some positive character growth is James. I'm curious what you thought of that
What about
overall.
James?
About his growth as a character throughout this episode.
His change into actually being a protagonist.
Yeah, instead of just
It, it,
like a
it's
sideliner.
it's it's steady, but you can definitely start seeing a change pretty quickly in him, especially after the car chases start heating up in this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah. The car goes through like a couple jumps and bumps, and all of a sudden he's doing a yahoo kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And when he was doing that, it was kind of when I kind of realized it's like, does it feel like they kind of tried to pick someone who had a similar look to like Leonardo DiCaprio for this role? Because he just kind of
Sort of,
have the
maybe.
he does kind of have that little vibe with like his hairstyle and everything.
Just a little bit. Can't say for sure, but there might be something to that vibe.
But yeah, he goes from like indifferent to or antagonistic towards his dad Robocop to indifferent to actually caring about him again.
Very much so. Yeah. He definitely does go through a very good change by the end you legitimately feel that he does care about his father and he does care about what's going down,
Yeah,
and he legitimately wants to make a proper change, which is why he decides to not stay on with OCP.
yeah, yeah. During the end credits, they actually show that he's created his own company that's there for the betterment of Delta City.
And Robo is now no longer going by Robo. He's going by his original legitimate human name, and has united police forces in Detroit and has started dealing with the crime problems finally. To which they ask him, "What you got to say to the public, Mr. Murphy?" Stay out of trouble.
Um,
Perfect callback.
what other characters did we see go through? So, I mean,
Ed.
we yeah, oh yeah, Ed, oh my God, Ed
That man
throughout this,
goes through so much.
yeah, throughout this series, Ed has really been the most relatable character. Because let's be honest, anyone who's ever had a shitty boss can relate to him.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just he literally is the entire reason Damien has any pull in the company, and he still treats him like dirt.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little more about Ed after we talk about the Anne and the main villain. So I don't really know. There's much we can say about Anne or her daughter Jordan that's
Jordan just basically is constantly just being dragged around all over the
She's
place.
literally she's literally just a hostage, except for that one moment while Anne was fighting Kadik,
He
where
does manage to
the daughter,
get a kick in.
yeah, the daughter freaking jump kicks him in the face, which was very short-lived triumph because he just shocked her and knocked her over. Um,
And starts cussing.
yeah, Anne is defiant until the end, but
Yes, you do.
yeah, Kadik, I think he is a really good villain in spite of the stupid plot line with Legion being a computer virus that can also kill people by being
It can become
airborne.
physical, yeah.
Like it's such an idiotic concept. Like we were discussing this, saying that the funny thing is like they didn't have to go with that stupid plot line.
They
But
could literally have dropped all of the real world stuff, rewrite how Kadik and Sarah get stopped at the end from hitting the EMP, and it would be more or less the same episode and make a lot more sense.
yeah, if it was just him trying to use the virus to take over Saint, especially because
Yeah, they go to Saint, and with like, Saint going out to take over all Delta City and kill everybody and do the big reboot he wants so badly.
right. Because the thing is, with him being someone that had worked for OCP previously, like I can't remember if we mentioned that in the previous episode, but
I'm not sure if we
he
mentioned it, but they definitely mentioned it in the
yeah,
show.
he used to work for OCP because he was aware of what Robocop was from like a you know
From get go,
technological
World War One,
level,
yeah.
which is how he was able to work on John and put a chip in
With
him to keep him under
the chip
control.
in them, yeah.
Um, so it stands to reason as someone who was at the company, he might have been aware of like the early stages of Saints production, especially if he's been somehow keeping tabs on what's going on, even though he's not working there anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's not exactly not a hacker, considering you know he actually hacked in and started uploading Legion without them knowing.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Yeah,
And also,
the only person that seemed to notice was Ed, and I think it's just because he heard an audible hiccup inside of Saint when talking to him at one point, and he's just like, "Wait, what? No, that's not right."
so the thing is, like, even without that, he works so well as a villain. He's kind of hammy at times, but he's
Oh,
also
very.
he's also really just he's really sadistic and evil.
Yeah,
So
he's hammy when he wants to be, in particular for action sequences, but he is also just a maniacal piece of
yeah,
work schemer.
yeah. And at the end, when he thinks victory is in sight, anyhow, he just gets fed up with everybody and actually orders Cable to kill everyone, including his daughter. Whereas
Yeah,
previously he wanted to spare her, but he just had enough.
had
And
enough, and he had enough of being the outlier and being ignored and shunned by everybody in the room. So he's like, "You know what? F them, f all of them. Doesn't matter. I'm going to get my great reboot right now, anyways."
luckily, Cable had the willpower to say no. Even though he had the chip in him and was dialing it up, he held on long enough for them to get a decent distance away from him before it like kind of like shut his brain off and put him in autopilot.
Yeah.
But
Uh, Thankfully, thanks to James stepping in the way for a few moments, that autopilot kind of booted back into normal. And instead of harming Murphy, he actually gave him a quick data input and then bolted off.
yeah, and at this point, Anne and Kadik are dead because Anne knocked over a bunch of the computer towers, which made the virus airborne. They didn't say
I don't think it was the towers. I think it was the thing that kicked afterwards. There was like
whatever.
a central control panel or something. But yeah, whatever it was, yeah, all of a sudden it's airborne.
Like,
Air
which
quotes.
is stupid, but like I will say like the visuals that they used for it weren't terrible. If you're trying to give the impression that some sort of
Weird digital
computerized,
thing is
yeah,
happening to kill people. Yeah.
but the actual explanation for what it is
Dumb.
stupid.
Absolutely dumb moment.
Because yeah, she kicked him into a wall after they were both infected, which then caused him to like explode.
The Pepsi virus equals real virus and it's
And
gonna eat you alive.
and then she just kind of fell apart while she was trying to get to the EMP. She
Yeah.
she almost had like a heroic
Almost,
final moment, but fell
almost
short.
got there, yeah.
And I will say, while at the end of the movie, Ed does agree to take care of their daughter. It is really kind of weird that they don't address anything about how she feels about the fact that both of her parents are dead now. Maybe the actor
And
for
the
the
fact
kid wouldn't
that
have been able to like emote for it
maybe voted very
adequately,
well for it, maybe, yeah.
but it's still like a weird thing, or it's kind of just brushed under the rug as far as the story is concerned. It's probably like the
Yeah.
one of the few downsides to this movie, aside from the actual plot of the stupid virus. But like we said though, the thing is everything else going on is just so perfect that you just don't care that the virus plotline's stupid because there's enough other stuff to keep you interested.
Yeah, you got a lot of really good action set pieces and interesting action moments. You've also got towards the end some heartfelt moments with the main cast that you wanted to see happen, and you got actual good send-offs for most of these
Yep.
characters, at least for the time being.
Yep. Because then John Cable goes back up after knocking Murphy out more or less, knocking
More or less.
Robocop out.
The day of feed, yeah.
Yeah, and sets off the EMP, nobly sacrificing himself to stop the destruction of the city. Um,
Oh, that's what he was actually. That was what he was explaining in Murphy's memory in the data feed.
yeah,
So he quickly gave him the data feed because that was going to knock him out. And as long as the computer is offline when the EMP goes off, the EMP won't destroy it. So when he boots back up a little while later, he's not destroyed by the EMP that just went off above him, and he's able to go back to full function. And not only that, but Cable was able to drop off a video feed of himself as his original human self, talking to him and telling him he's still got work to do. He's still his best friend, and he still has a job to do, and he's best man suited for the job now at this point. To which, when they do get outside, you just hear all the panic and shooting and everything else going off in the city. And so, literally, the last really good question before the end credits: what are you going to do? What I do best: protect the innocent, uphold the law.
yeah. It, it,
And goes
it,
and then just Robo marching off into the city.
yeah. Like I said, the only send offs in this that I think kind of sucked were kind of Anne and Kadic, but that's because the virus idea
They
itself
were
is
attached to
stupid.
that really bad virus plot, which itself just kind of mess a lot of everything attached to it.
Because we were talking about how like a few changes could have just made that better. Like, because one thing they kept hammering home is that Anne can't beat Kadic in a fight because he's just physically too much stronger than her. I was like, well, the thing is, you could easily resolve that by having it's like when she jump kicked him and knocked him into the wall, had it be something that was sticking out of the wall just impaled him. That wouldn't have actually been her physical strength overcoming him. That would have been dumb luck. You could have done something
And
like
then,
that, and
in order to stop her from hitting the EMP, just something else happens to fall because of the consequences of whatever happened during the fight.
yeah,
So you still would have the same ending.
yeah. It's a temporary dumb moment in an overall good movie. Because honestly, until they get infected with the virus, you almost forget that that's the plot line.
For a good while there, yeah. Um,
But
and then you
John's,
also get the set offs during the end credits too.
yeah, because they, like we said, already said they reveal that James Murphy is now head of ironically named the company Prime Directives,
Yep,
or was it Prime Directive? I can't remember. It was either
Prime
it was
Directives.
And then Ed also started his own company too.
Technology Corporation, yeah, and he's doing well for himself. And Alex is back on the street as a sheriff, essentially.
And Sarah is the head of OCP as it's being sued into oblivion in a class action lawsuit for trillions of dollars by the citizens.
Yep.
So she essentially
So
inherited.
everyone smart dodged a bullet and got out of there.
Yeah, she inherited bankruptcy essentially because
Nothing her and her little inner circle can really do to help that corporation now anymore.
yeah, that was
Because everyone who left literally did a splinter group of different companies that are now taking over everything OCP used to be
oh yeah, that's right.
and doing a better job.
Because even the shock jock Archie Nemesis had left and started his
Yeah.
own network.
Where he just keeps telling people, think for yourselves, go out, touch some grass.
Like that, his spiel at the end was like so great. I actually said, "Man, we really could use an Archie Nemesis in real life right now with all the
Use
crazy shit going
a few
on."
more of them than the public eye, yeah.
Trying to think, is there anyone we could really compare him to in real life? Maybe Bill Maher. Maybe.
Kind of, sort of. There's maybe some YouTubers here or there you can maybe relate them to, depending upon who you're talking to and who, what kind of personality you're looking at. But yeah, I think Bill Maher would probably be the closest thing you can do right now because he has been kind of leaning into people who are being nonsensical too.
On both sides.
Even on both sides, even though he used to be very heavy left leaning, he's also been leaning into the left quite a bit too lately.
But
He's been very disappointed in some of the things he's seen.
yeah. But so is there anything I'm missing? Is there anyone we haven't mentioned? No, because actually the number of characters are kind of low for this because some of the other ones died in the previous episodes.
Some of the other ones died in previous episodes, and we had a few more die in this one.
Yeah.
We did get what seemed like repeated security guards.
Oh yeah.
Because we swear the same guy with the same balding patch kept showing up.
Yeah. There were too many. There were too many security guards that had George Costanza hair.
They all looked like they were dressed for a song and dance number.
Yeah. That's like, and there's one of them that very distinctly sticks out where it's like you see him in multiple different groups of guards that were dispatched, and you're just like, that's like if you're gonna reuse the same actors, don't have one of them be the
Instead
guy
of,
that's
so
got
easy.
like no hair,
And it has most of the dialogue.
like, or at the very least have them wear some sort of combat helmet or whatever to make it so the fact that they're the same
Less
person
easily despicable, yeah.
isn't as noticeable. Yeah. But, oh my god, the first scene we had with security guards when the truck from system support that Kadic and John used to get there, and the guys are just like checking it, just like, oh, unauthorized truck here. You better come out. And the guy's not even pointing his gun at anything. He's just walking around with his gun hanging down at his side. It's like, who handles a gun like that in a situation like this? Like,
This is the same as the cop from Plan 9 from Outer Space who used the tip of his gun to scratch the back of his head.
I think we've really said all we can. There's not much because like it's hard to
We've
really.
kind of covered most of the bases on this one. Again, most of this is action too, so it's really hard to clarify anything other than a few character moments here and there.
And some of the action stuff they did, they made good use out of the fact that they know they don't have
A huge budget.
a huge special effects budget. So they're like, no, we can do since we're inside of an office building. We can break lots
glass.
of fucking glass.
Break all the fucking glass. Send it shattering everywhere. We're going to do it in slow motion half the time, too. Hell yeah, the brother.
So to wrap things.
And then we're going to kick them through 2 more panels of glass and have them land in water so it all, because of the explosion, it's all steaming, too. So we can hide everything in shadows and half fog. And then we have another fist fight again before at least the main Robo finds his gun.
Yeah, I really do think we have to hammer home how much action there is in this one. Like, I'd say the only other one out of this series that comes close was the second Prime
It would
Directives
have
movie.
been the second one, yeah.
Yeah, because that was because they were trying to hunt down RoboCop. But this one is crazy. But
Yeah, this one just went full in for it, yeah.
I think
If
this
you were to actually chunk these all together into one movie, this is the big final penultimate fight, the entire
right.
episode.
I don't think there's much else we can say about it though, because we've covered all the characters more or less. So, um, aside from, did we say much about Alex Murphy, the original RoboCop himself? Much? I mean, really, what is there to say? He
I
is he's
he is Alex Murphy. He
yeah.
is our boy. He is the reason why everything is happening to at least some degree.
This is
And
just
the reason why some of this is happening is because he manages to sneak out of every single death trap they throw at him. This man is even this man was already almost indestructible as a human. They literally had to put a bullet in his head to stop him. He was even more indestructible now as a robot, even though he's aging.
so.
Will Ford tough apparently.
So, what would you say are your final thoughts on this movie, Matt?
On this particular one in particular, on this final chapter in particular, I'd say this final episode of this miniseries is like the big payoff. This is everything you wanted. You get all the emotional stuff you want with all the main characters. You get all the big send offs and some at least good long momentary endings for some of these characters. You get all the action sequences you want. You get everything from car chases to big brawling fights to big gun shoot offs. Everything you want is right here, and it's despite its budget, it's really well done. They did it. They absolutely saved all the money they could for this final act.
Yeah. I think the only thing we were saying we wish they hadn't done was some of the weird slow mo effects they did because they just didn't look good.
Yeah, there's a couple of shots here and there still where they do slow mo for no apparent reason. It's like why? And then a few moments later, they're just shooting glass and everything, and then it's like, yes, that's where you use your slow mo.
At least they didn't randomly use the slow motion in the middle of somebody talking,
Well, at least they didn't do that again this episode.
where
Thank God. Yes.
where the freak they did it with the they did it made the little girl sound like a demon. That was so weird when they did that, and I think it was the third one. Uh,
What?
but
Actually, no. I think that was the tail end of the second one, wasn't it? Yeah, when they had just before
yeah. You're right.
they had cable. Yeah,
I was thinking about when Kadick was involved, but no, it was the second one with when system support was just kind of beating on everyone.
yeah.
Um, my final thoughts on this is like we got to this, and I'm like, oh, now I really remember why I was defending this batch of movies so much. When
The ending is freaking awesome.
there's a lot of people that kind of dumped on these, and like as a whole, like ignoring the stupid computer virus infecting people plotline. As a whole, this series of movies did not have the budget that RoboCop 3 had, but it's very obvious that like
The people behind it gave a
the
dang.
people behind this had more passion for the IP than the people that made the weird decisions with 3
Yeah,
and maybe even some of the stupid decisions with 2. Though I still think 2 is RoboCop 2 is overall an okay movie.
it's good. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
That'd be a hell of a crossover if we could ever get him involved somehow.
Come on, Fleek. Let's do a movie review.
Um, but I think that's all we have to say. This is going to be probably be the shortest out of the four reviews we've done for this
What more
batch.
can we say? It's worth watching. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's worth watching. If you haven't watched it, try to make it through the first movie, which has issues with it being a lot of buildup
Or if nothing else, look up a TLDR about the first 3 episodes, and then just hop into 4 and just hit the octane. That's all
Like
you really need.
like the big warning for this series of 4 movies is that the things that weigh it down the most is the first and third movie have heavy lore dumps in them. The
Big lore dumps.
the third movie not as bad because the later half of that one is nonstop action again.
Yeah.
But like the first movie is like big lore dump. Even the even the actual fight scenes that are in the first movie aren't like spectacular because they're kind of
Because
short
they're so
lived.
short. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, I think as a package, these movies are good. And
Oh, yeah.
I recommend them to anyone who likes Robocop that wants to see something that's newer than the original 3 movies and is not the terrible reboot. Because and
Speaking
now
thereof,
now finding physical copies of these is a nightmare.
sadly, it's
Is a
really
nightmare.
expensive. Yeah.
Don't bother trying. But the oddly the probably I think one of the only ways to watch them legally, you can either rent or buy them digitally on Prime Video. That's where we're watching them. I bought them previously on there. I bought them specifically because you can't get DVDs of them. So I'm like, well, at least I can rewatch them whenever I want this way, even
Yeah.
though I don't have a physical copy.
I'm one of those narcissistic, crazy people who will sit here on eBay and just keep going, I'm waiting.
I hit
I keep checking
refresh.
every couple of months.
I hit refresh. Is it different now?
And we check in every couple of months to see if anyone put a low bar uh, sell on any of the DVDs for the set. And I'm
Well, the
just like,
thing is, like, I feel like these could get a re-release if somebody at the company that owns it just
would
remembered
do
they
it.
exist.
And we remember they exist and go, hey, I wonder if we re-release these, if we could just make money right now.
Because they put the TV series on Blu-ray a couple years ago, and it's like that. I don't think, not from memory, the TV series is not as good as these.
I couldn't say for sure. I do recall the TV series was of high note at the time of its release. I do recall that, being old enough to recall that. But otherwise, I couldn't really tell you because I haven't seen anything of the TV series yet in like 20 plus years. Almost going on 30 years, I believe now.
So I believe that is all we have to say. So we will see you next time with the final episode of the podcast. And until then, have a good one.
See you all next time.